pretty crazy to just be standing right here on the spot, which is the start line for UTMB. Start and finish for me. Just think of the caliber of runners that have stood right here, finish right here. It's crazy. So it's Friday morning here in Chamonix. I've got 1 week to go, and tapering here is difficult because I can literally go out that door 400 meters up a vertical K, surrounded by mind-blowing peaks, beautiful scenery. The weather is just been perfect. All you want to do is get out there and just get into it, but really have to be vigilant with freshening legs up, because I did put in a couple of big weeks for me when I got here, so I need to make sure they're ready to roll, and they have been sort of recovering a bit slow this week. They're coming around now, which is good, but I also have had a cold. I haven't had a cold or got sick or anything in years, but like I said, a couple of big weeks when I got here, exposed to more germs than usual, just travelling on the airplane and whatever. So I did get a cold, but I'm feeling a lot better now. I feel like I'm over that, so that's good. Positive it's happened in plenty of time before the race, so it would suck if I got sick on the week of the race. So I think all's going to be well. I'm about to cruise down and get a coffee.
Okay, just here, you are taking a bag of coffee.
Buddy. Thought I'd run through and show you all the gear I'm going to be using. Gives me something to do on my rest day. I'm pretty sure TDS, UTMB and CCC gear is all the same, so this kind of applies to all those races, and I'm going to show you how I pack it, which is probably the most important part. But for a longer race, I really start considering gear quite carefully. A, it's as light as possible. B, it does still function if I do need to use it. Might seem over the top taking into account the weight of everything so carefully, because it's only going to give you a small advantage, but everything counts in a long race. So show you what I got here. Alright, first piece of kit, probably the most important thing because everything's going to go inside this, is the pack. I'm using the Camelback Ultra Pro. I haven't been using this thing for that long. I actually got it while I was over here, but the reason I like it so much is because the main storage pocket in the back is actually quite wide, so you can sort of pack your mandatory items too wide, if that makes sense, which spreads the volume out sort of more evenly and creates less bulge in the pack. I'll show you when it's fully loaded. You can barely believe that everything's in there, so I really like that about it. 2 500ml flasks on the front, which gives you your litre of mandatory capacity. So this is my mandatory 180 gram mid-lay. This is a compressed sport UTMB edition. A lot of manufacturers don't list the weight of the garment, so the great thing about this is it's advertised specifically for the mandatory gear at 180 grams, so you know it weighs that, no more, no less. It's compressed sport, so it's quality, nice material, it's warm, got thumb holes, got a hood. Got to have a warm hat. This is an Io Merino skull cap, it's called. It's really light, really thin, and it's really warm, so it works well. Space blanket, pretty standard. Gloves, you got to have a warm and waterproof glove. These outdoor research ones, pretty much perfect, because this is just like a standard warm running glove, and then it's got a zippered pocket on the top of it, and then it's got the waterproof over glove inside it. This isn't something I want to skimp on either, because I hate having cold hands. If it does rain and your warm glove gets wet, your hands just get cold anyway, so you can just rip that out, slip it on over the top, and your hands stay really warm. Waterproof, so my jacket is a Outdoor Research Helium 2. It's a great jacket, keeps you dry, and packs up nice and small like that. And then pants, definitely something to consider getting the absolute lightest, smallest possible pair that you can find, because you're just highly unlikely to need these. And if you don't get a compact pair, they take up a lot of room in your pack. So these are Innovate Race Light ones. I'll link everything in the description so you can check it out, but they're super small, super light. Got to have something to cover your leg entirely, so you could use capris with compression socks or calf sleeves or running tights. They don't actually specify what you have to use, you just have to cover the leg entirely. So these are polypro thermals, which I've used for mandatory gear in the past because it's always been you had to have a thermal. In this case you don't, so this is probably the one thing I'll switch out, try and get like a lighter weight running tight that's going to be a bit more compact. 1 meter of adhesive strapping bandage. This is different to the bandage that you always have to carry for Mando gear in Australia. I just went to the pharmacy here in Chamonix and asked them, they knew what I was talking about, so that's that. Got to have a cup because they don't use plastic cups on the course, which is good. This is just a green race one made by Hydra Pack. You can get a few different ones of these at the running shop. Head torch, you got to have 2 with spare batteries for both. So this is my main torch. It's a Petzl Reactic Plus. It's a good light, and it's worth having a good light even for the CCC because the race starts at 9 AM. So even if I have a really good day, I'll be running, I don't know, maybe 4 hours at least in the dark. So, and then my backup light is just a Petzl E-light and spare battery for that. Arm warmers, these aren't mandatory, but I think they're a good thing to have for a long race when you're going to be out there all day and some of the night and experiencing a range of different temperatures. Often you might go through a patch of getting cold and it's not really worth rummaging around in your pack to get a layer out. You can just slip your arm warmers on, and then when you warm up you can just roll them back down. Last piece of gear I'm going to use is the naked belt, which I mentioned in the last video. Scotty put me onto it. It's just a really good piece of kit and a really good way to carry your poles and anything else that you want to be really accessible, like your food. You can carry an insane amount of stuff. Someone actually carried the entire Mando gear for the Hong Kong 100 in one of these belts. You can load it up and it doesn't bounce around. Normally I would just carry my poles in my hands when I'm not using them, and that was mainly because I'd never discovered a way of easily putting them away to get hands-free, and it's just nice to get hands-free now and again, especially in a long race, for eating, drinking and just doing whatever. And when you can put your poles away as easy as you can with this belt, it's a no-brainer. So I'll show you how it works. So that's the belt. I just whacked a heap of gear in there just to show how much capacity it's got. But for the race I'll use it to carry my food, so I can get to that really easy. If it's hot and I wanted to take some extra water, I can fit a soft flask in there easily as well. And my poles is where easy, I can just whack those in and out. I can do that while I'm running comfortably. Obviously you can wear the poles on your back at your front, but I just find it's even easier on your front, they're not in the way. And that's all my gear. I'll show you how it all fits in my pack. So that's everything in the pack, and it's all just in the main storage pocket of the Ultra Pro 2. So I've got plenty of other pockets I can utilise. It's spread out nice and even, there's no big bulge in the pack, which just makes it sit a lot more comfortably on your back. And when you're wearing it all day, it's pretty important. So then that's what it looks like with me wearing it. It's got all the gear in there, 2 flasks on the front, and Saturday morning I'm about to head out and do my last run of any sort of significant distance really. So I do about 1 hour and 3/4, 2 hours, and try and keep the vert to a minimum. So I started down there, Chamonix, and I cut across here and then came across to the last Leger, which is the last aid station of the race. So I'm about to run down the final descent again, back to Chamonix for a cup of coffee. So the other thing I forgot to mention on headlamps, the other reason why you want a good light, is this last descent's pretty reasonably technical, and so is the traverse across the La Flagia, so plenty of stuff to kick and go tumbling, so you want to see where you're going. Didn't take the camera to the coffee shop because how many cups of coffee do you really see me drink? I've been drinking too much. Just had decaf. I got to clean this apartment up now because I'm moving out of here in the morning, going to a new place because Mum and Dad arrived, which is exciting. My bed's not made because this bed is up high. It's against the wall. It is pretty much impossible to make it. But hopefully the gear stuff was interesting and somewhat useful. Everyone does it a bit differently, I know, but that's how I do it, and it works out well for me, so that's pretty much it. Run went well, legs are feeling good. I was a little bit nervous this week about how slow they were recovering after a couple of big weeks when I got here, but they're feeling a lot better after that run, actually. And I think just my recovery's been slow with having the cold and stuff this week, but that's on the mend now too. So I think with an easy week this week, just some shakeout runs and whatever, I'll be fresh and right up and ready to roll. Alright, that's it. Later.